Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Immortality Season 6 Episode 31 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. The number of robbers caused by the monk's own demons and vitality. The more you practice, the more powerful your mana, and the more serious the robbery. At this moment, the raging fire of Fang Han was completely triggered. With his tyrannical power, the majestic spirit, and the raging fire, the devils were shocked, and they retreated first. The intense flame from the core of Jindan presents a pure red color that condenses into a blossoming lotus shadow. The intense blazing fire has reflected the whole void in the red, which is the most powerful, red lotus robbery, among the monks. Not to mention the self-cultivator, even if someone else is infected with this flame, it will be ruined. This red lotus robbery is the most terrible flame between heaven and earth. Best at burning mana, soul, ***, all kinds of suffocating, vitality. Thousands of red lotuses robbery, bursting out from Fang Han's body and spinning around. The illusion of the blossoming red lotus flower, the size of the water tank, each one, has produced the power of horror. Compared to the Red Emperor's fire, it seems to be powerful. This kind of red lotus robbery, surpassing the world, is not among the 5 elements. The red lotus robbery came out, wrapped around the square cold ***, and the strong body of Fang Han's immortal body began to wither and disappeared obviously. It seemed that the flesh and blood of the whole body, the essence and the bone marrow were burned out. The wind, also from the core of Jindan, screams and screams, the wind of a strip, showing a dark color, more than 100 times more than a 9-day hurricane. Every black robbery condenses into a black dragon with a fierce ***** mouth and sharp claws. These wind dragons and the red lotus robbers cooperate with each other. The wind helps the fire, but also the blossoming red lotus robbery, blowing and dripping. This is the black dragon. The monk's wind and fire robbery is red lotus robbery, black dragon wind, is a nightmare. It means that the monk is blown by the wind, and unconsciously, he is turned into ashes in his dreams, and his body and death are eliminated. This red lotus robbery, black dragon wind, is from the core of Jindan. From the inside. In an instant, the whole person of Fang Han became a towering fire tower, and the wind and fire angered. Around the body's rotation, from the core of his golden Dan, a steady stream of spurts, more and more violent, more and more tyrannical. In an instant, all the 3,000 feet of the platform were full of wind and fire. Almost all of the shackles of the sacred light were burned down slightly, and the wind smashed the voids, and there was a smack of robbing everywhere. Even the burning sound of the wind and fire formed a sigh of sighs, robbing, robbery. It's hard to escape, it's hard to escape. These sounds seem to be doomed to Fang Han, and at this moment, they are in danger. At this time, the magic Shui did not attack the Fang Han. In fact, he could not attack the Fang Han because Fang Han was in the midst of a raging fire. The powerful fire lotus robbery, the black dragon and the dragon wind, he took him. Forced to retreat, there is no chance to get close to Fang Han. He is also reluctant to be contaminated by the most horrible red lotus robbery in the monastic world. Although he had weathered the fire, he was not willing to remember that painful experience. What's more, Fang Han's wind and fire robbery is 10 times bigger than him. A very powerful wind and fire robbery. When I was robbing, the red lotus robbery was only the size of the bowl. Now the square is full of water tank size. It is not the same day. I have to see, how can he cross? In the past, when my father was robbed, there was no such big flame and wind dragon. The devil's heart was shocked. In his ear, he only heard the sound of the wind and fire, and his eyes were red, as if he had entered the sea of purgatory fire. Fang Han's red lotus robbery, black dragon and dragon wind, is really too strong. The devil Hansen did not dare to go deep into the core to attack Fang Han. He also knew that Fang Han couldn't last long. This was a big fire, and it was extremely consuming. Even if he managed to survive, he also consumed the mana, let alone Fang Han. It is impossible to spend. Such a power, such a robbery, and even a strong figure, is also difficult to escape. Fang Han was insatiable, and he practiced 90 kinds of magical powers. At this moment, he finally encountered the biggest retribution and robbery in this life. Magic handsome, I am causing my fire, I will pull you to die. In the center of the fire, Fang Han body withered, burning only the skinny, a skeleton above the living covered with a layer of human skin. And his Jin Dan, no longer hard, gradually melted, was burned into a flowing gold liquid, and all kinds of magical powers inside, including the 5 emperors, began to collapse. Cannot withstand the power of the wind and fire. That's a nose, and it has long been burned and it doesn't exist anymore. The oil ran out of the cold, in the raging fire, the eyes stunned the magic handsome, suddenly swooped over, seems to hug the magic handsome, and he died with him. Where I am with you, how is it possible? Devil handsome naturally does not want to be smothered by Fang Han, a smile, the eyebrows bloom, the light of a strand wraps itself, flashes, and sometimes appears in the ring. The west, and sometimes it appears in the east. Suddenly south and north, suddenly left and right. Move instantly and shuttle through the space. The eye of the last law actually has the magical effect of shuttle space. It is a good baby who gets the essence of the Tao. With this ability, basically the devil is invincible. He walked around the scene, no matter how Fang Han culled, he could not kill him. He ducked while waiting for the coal to dry. He was finally burned to death by the wind and fire, so he got some magic weapons. He knew that Fang Chun's body had the existence of Huang Quantu, Fang Han Hua was ashes, and Huang Quantu would also appear. Oops! Fang Han's raging fire has spurred. At this time, in the distance below the Mijin mountain, above a Yingbingbingshan island, the first Black King and the 24 princes, the pure fox demon girl, are all shocked, especially the Black King, but also shocked to stand directly get up. I can't wait to see the light on the top of the mountain. This time, the birthday of Fang Han has not yet entered the Miss Han, Nebula Baby, 24 princes, Black Secluded King and other people went to another welcome island. Did not enter the Mijin mountain. Because of the need to be in the mountains, you must be able to enter the distinguished guests. At least the ancient giants above Jindan. Although He Wang is a master of Shentong, he is far superior to Jindan, but in order to accompany the Nebula Baby, he did not enter the Mijin mountain, but in the Yingbin island outside Jinshan. Sumiyama, standing in the center of the exquisite blessings, such as Optimus Prime, is surrounded by the Golden Mountain. This time, there are thousands of monks who come to Linglong Shintoan to worship, and only 1/10 of the districts that can enter the Sumi mountain. The rest of the people were received by the exquisite female disciples in the Yingbin Xianting on each island. However, these monks with low realms can also see the illusion of the war on the top of the mountain. The 2 devils of the demon and the decisive battle, vying for the inheritance of the 3 supreme masters, have made many supernatural powers, 6 masters, and hooked. However, at this time, Fang Han was on the stage, suddenly causing his own fire and catastrophe, but it made everyone shocked. It doesn't matter, this time, Fang Han's big brother's raging fire will surely be able to survive. Nebula Baby is not in a hurry, holding the unique specialty of Linglong Foodie, Linglong fruit for food. Hearing the words of the Nebula Baby, the black and secluded Wang Xinxi also calmed down some. A powerful raging fire. This time he cannot afford to pass in the past. 6 scattered people saw the ring, all covered with fire. In the depths of the core, Fang Han has become a scorpion. The internal organs seem to burn, and the hair on the head is burned. The skin on the body has turned into some dust and falls. This is a bad symbol. It is necessary to look at his own potential, and no one can help him. Mr. Shuijing squeezed the fan, and it seemed to be a little uneasy. The power of the chilly robbery was beyond his imagination. He is not sure about such a big robbery. And this time it was the gamble of him and the 6 scattered people. Whoever lost, who wants to make a device? Dragon Road people, it is a pity. This time the cold of the cold, the 99 will not pass, half of the undead body, all turned into ashes, we are also difficult to kill him. Tai's reward, also become a bubble, the Wood Road people are a pity. It's a pity, but he burned himself. It's also a self-satisfaction. Forcing so many magical powers, thinking that it's fun. Longdao people sneer again and again. The magic has been deep, I still don't know. He has already dried up. If there is nothing to add, if it is not 1 or 2 hours, it will be completely turned into dust. You said who will fall in his hands? Of course, it is Ling Long Xianzuan, with the means of exquisite fairy statues, got the Huangquan map, will definitely restore, then go to Huangquan Mo Zone, open the treasure house of Huangquan. Get the many unique dishes inside. Ling Long Foodie has become the first sect of Xiandao, beyond Tai. Yeah, I have only heard that Ling Long Xianzuan is the first master of the world in Xianhuang. I have never believed it. Now, seeing him show his great wish, Hongmeng is willing. Finally, I am sure. After getting the Huangquan map, I will definitely be able to. There is no limit. Longdao people cherish the road. Not good. Fang Han is actually taking our 4 Nirvana Dan. Mudao people suddenly mad. Originally on the ring, Fang Han was burned dry, the mana was exhausted, and the whole body and skin seemed to be ashes. The tree of the world of the eyebrows was insufficiently supplied, but at this moment, his flash of light flashed and he spent 4 billion yuan to buy it. The 4 heavenly class remedies, Nidandan suddenly came out from the Huangquan map and took it. Nidandan, which contains unparalleled power, is used when the monks break through the realm. At this moment, Fang Han is at the crucial moment of breaking through the realm. Originally, Red Lotus Robbery, Black Dragon and Dragon Wind, blows all the bones of Fang Han, the flesh and blood are dried up, all the vitality is melted, even the head is burned, Jin Dan is also melted, and the magical power is turned into nothing. Seeing that the oil was dry, and suddenly took 4 Naipan Dan, it immediately produced new changes. Nidan Dan, even if the master of the supernatural powers swallowed, it may also change and enter the longevity secret. One of the potions contains a stronger than the yin and yang, the Jiri Jindan, the Legu relic, and the dragon ***** Dan. 10 times the strength. A master of Jindan, swallowing 2 capsules in a row, absolutely must explode. The super-powerful master of the magical power, swallowed 4 capsules at a time, and immediately swelled to death. However, this drug is precious. 1 is very rare, let alone 4. Even the long-lived mysterious giant has not swallowed 4 big shots. However, Fang Han happened to get 4 Nirvana Dan, and now it is the key time to shock the supernatural powers. For Nirvana Dan is set in advance to help him. The powerful power of the 4 Nirvana Dans broke out completely, and the power of 1 strand of the stock also condensed into a flame. These flames are like a flamingo with a head and a phoenix. Surrounded by the Fang Han regiment, it resisted the Red Lotus robbery. Those phoenixes, shaking their wings, screaming loudly, and sounded for 9 days. Strong vitality, injected into the body of Fang Han. In an instant, the flesh and blood of Fang Han actually regrowed out, and the flesh and blood of each piece was very strong. Glittering, it seems to be the body, the golden body, the immortal body. The hair on his head has also grown, and the roots are also shining with the sacred luster. They are tempered by the Red Lotus robbers. Just like real gold, the more they are tempered, the more they shine. His golden Dan was actually condensed. Reaggregation, under the powerful power of 4 Naipan Dan, all kinds of supernatural powers, once again concise. More and more pure. Especially in his mind, it has undergone earth-shaking changes. Panwu vigorously magical, automatically started up, in the fire, the power, the impact of the robbery, 5 knowledge of the sea, as if the 5 elements change, and expand again. Fully doubled. A massive mana rushed into the sea of knowledge. It turns out that the mana-like mana actually solidifies again and becomes a solid gemstone, the solid of the sky crystal. Mana is more pure and concise. After the raging fire, Fang Han, whether it is supernatural powers, or Jin Dan, or the sea, or the flesh, has produced new changes. He seems to have sensed the coldness of the square and the spring, and it has a strong vitality. In the depths of Jin Dan's core, it has ignited a more fierce fire. The more abundant the vitality, the more powerful the wind and fire. Nirvana is reborn, the wind refines my God, ignites my body, yin and yang rushes, and the ding furnace gathers. The robbery is over, the sanctification is established. Although the wind and the robbery are getting fiercer, but in the four nirvana with the help of Dan's powerful medicine, Fang Han was not afraid at all. In the case of just getting rid of the body and the gods disappeared, almost all his demons were burned, and now the real wisdom beads are in the grip. At this moment, in the robbery, he really felt the wisdom. When the devil goes, the wisdom is born. Everyone has extraordinary wisdom. Everyone is a Buddha. He is only robbed, karma, obstacles, and concealed. This is the theory that Fang Han learned from the great Guru Zen light. Now, in the midst of the raging fire, it is even more profound. This insight, his wisdom is more profound, more extensive. Jin Dan actually derived a circle of halo, like a rainbow. And on his body, behind the head, the halo of a circle is also flickering and diverging out. Wherever they went, the red lotus robbers of the size of the water tanks were extinguished, and the black hurricane dragons no longer spun and scattered. The sound of the fire is getting smaller, and the sound of the wind is getting smaller. The wind and fire ravaged and actually began to subside. Of course, with the help of Naidan, I realized the wisdom of Supreme, and surrendered with wisdom. 6 people saw this scene and immediately understood that Fang Han had hoped to survive the storm. Yes, his golden dragon has produced a circle of light. This is the scene of supreme wisdom. Only the master of the rest of the robbery has this kind of scene. He has hope. For Nirvana Dan, the spirit of the gift too strong. Mr. Water Mirror laughed. 6 Dao San, you lost me this time. Take a Taoist device. No hurry, Fang Han has not survived the fire, and the devil has already launched a counterattack. Boom! The devil handsome also saw that it was not appropriate. After Fang Han swallowed 4 Nirvana Dan, the spirit of the gods was endlessly improved, and the dead woods were spring and full of vitality, emitting a circle of halo in the raging fire. The devil handsome immediately knew that Fang Han was likely to survive the fire. Of course, with the help of the strength of the 4 Ni Pandan, there is hope to survive the raging fire. This is also the case. He has 90 kinds of magical powers to survive the raging fire, to practice the supernatural powers. How powerful will it be? Wan can't let him spend, or else, I will be completely compared to him in front of the snow. The devil is shocked, but after all, he is determined to be determined. He has experienced countless storms and masters. He is not chaotic, shouting, his voice can be cracked, and his hands are waving, and a series of white bones are drawn in the deep sleeves. Even directly into the wind and fire robbery, smashed into the body of Fang Han, and then exploded. Congenital bones and gods. This is not a Dao, but a magic weapon, similar to the purple scorpion of Tai Yiman. It is the congenital demon sect. The congenital emperor collects the demon king, and even the bones of the demon ***** level master, blending the 9-day thunder essence, refining the gods, shocking the group of immortals, in the fairy magic too, famous. With only 1 grain, you can kill the master of the 5-day world. Now, between the devil and the handsome, there are thousands of white bones and thunders which can seriously hurt the masters of the longevity. However, these white bones thunder hit the square cold body, just exploded. They were swallowed by 1 ****** hole, such as mud cows into the sea. All of them were swallowed. Good pure bones, thunder essence, just give me strength. Fang Han suddenly opened his eyes, just swallowed the bones of the gods, actually was sold by the big swallowing, and the bones of the road, integrated into him among the skeletons. He added a radiance to his bones, and the thunder spirit is integrated into the flesh and blood. Ascending to his mind, in his pupils, you can see the dense lightning thunder, stunned. The devil's innate bones and thunder, not only did not give Fang cold damage, but added a nourishing energy to him. It is too ridiculous to be able to swallow the gods. The magician saw that he didn't make up the effect, and he didn't hesitate. He knew that except for the eyes of the last law, all the attacks had no effect on the other side. The end of the law breaks the law, all the law is gone. He ran all the mana and spurred his own eyebrows. Suddenly, thousands of rays of light came out from the eye of the last law. The stream of light of a stock gathered into a ***** who could not understand clearly. It seems that the end of the law, all the magical powers have lost their effects. This time the eye of the last law is cast, it is late. The light of wisdom, remove the demons, destroy the robbery, no disaster, no fire, no disappointment. At this moment, Fang Han's eyes completely recovered from Qingming. Jin Dan did not enter his mind. Behind his mind, the halo of a circle was more clear, more stable, and no longer flickering. The aperture behind his head is a total of 90, representing 90 magical powers. In the wind, don't shake. This seems to be the Buddha light recorded in the Buddhist scriptures, and the disaster cannot be shaken. The wind and fire robbed, at this moment, has been unable to shake his aperture magic. The aperture is getting bigger and bigger, and it is getting stronger and stronger. Wherever you go, the red lotus fire is completely eliminated, and the black hurricane dragon is also scattered. It is clean everywhere. Everything is restored to calm. The only difference is that the aperture after Fang Han's head is getting bigger and bigger. Every kind of magical power is several times more pure than before, and all the impurities are melted away in the midst of the fire. What is even more powerful is that Fang Han's original plundering of the devil's magical powers was originally profound. When the Ghost Emperor cultivated the magical powers, he did not know how many creatures were killed, and the grievances above were all in the midst of turmoil. Turned into a robbery, let Fang Han bear. Fang Han plundered the Ghost Emperor, and in the midst of the raging fire, he must bear the embarrassment caused by the Ghost Emperor. Now, the number of robberies caused by jealousy has been solved by Fang Han with wisdom and strength. The wind and fire robbery, a heavy extinction, and Fang Han's aperture oppression, more and more large, this represents that Fang Han has successfully passed the magical mystery, the biggest robbery, the biggest disaster. From then on, as long as there is enough energy, it will be able to condense the law of heaven and earth and reach the 9th weight of Shentong. His 5 knowledge of the sea, in the raging fire, doubled, and the strength of the 4 Nipandan helped him to fill up the mana. Now, he is in his own history, the most powerful, the peak moment. In the past, he played all his strengths and played the power of 100 million horses. He was able to play 10 times in 1,000th of an hour. And now, he is able to play 20 times. And his golden Dan, the above is more pure, a circle of sacred light shines out, giving people a kind of tranquil atmosphere, without the original kind of tyrannical overbearing, but more of a kind of freedom, eternal and unchanging. On the top of Jin Dan, the cultivation of all kinds of magical powers, the cause and effect of forced looting, all resolved in the catastrophe. Fang Han vaguely felt that his own Jin Dan had been psychic, as if it were an egg that was about to hatch, and it gave birth to a second one. This is the scene that wants to break the birth of the gods. Once the second one is born, it is the realm of the gods and the realm of heaven and earth. The robbery, at this moment, finally passed. Fang Han no longer has to suppress his own strength. No disaster, no robbing, clean and free. The fire was raging and all were wiped out. The cold mana was in its heyday. Arrive at the realm of supernatural powers. The mana has doubled, and the flesh is swaying at random. The halo of a circle emerges, where it is emitted, where the airflow flows, it seems to be surrendered and controlled. At this moment, Fang Han seems to be the hegemon of the creation of the world. Oops, he actually survived the fire. At this moment, the devil is still unclear. Fang Han has already passed the fire, the whole body has changed, and the mana has improved. No more suppression, it is more powerful than the 4 palms defeated the blood dance yang, you can say. Even now, the giants who have met the longevity and mystery of a long life, are not inferior. The wind and fire catastrophe, tempering the whole body of mana, ***, once past, the benefits cannot be imagined. Fang Han's raging fire was difficult to spend. Basically 9 out of 10 died. However, with the help of the strength of the 4 Nipandan, after crossing the past, the spirit is full, and the shackles are resolved. Jin Dan vaguely has a tendency to break the tires, and half of the undead body is even more ever-changing. Fierce as the ancient demon gods come. Yes, I have weathered the fire and robbed, no longer need to suppress my own strength, magic handsome. I don't need any magic weapon, let you take a look, can you break the eye of your last law? Shangpingdao, indeed it's a good baby between heaven and earth, but you have to play all the power. After Fang Han passed the raging fire, the sound was measured by the yin, and he spoke a little. He was his voice in all directions. His body was shaking a little, his face was his shadow. The shadows of this time are all true. The shape of the body, all exudes a strong blood. The eyes of the end of the law, protect my body. Mo Shui did not want to think. The vertical eye in the eyebrows once again shot thousands of rays of light, but it was not diverging outward, but it was like a silkworm baby silking woven scorpion, completely wrapped himself its up. Grey, dead and dead, completely wrapped the magic handsome. Become a grey light dice. Useless. Just after the devil's light was just woven, thousands of palms of shadow hit him on his body. It seems that the earthquake is coming, the volcano erupts, the mountains are shaking, the end of the world, the light of the devil handsome, and the bombardment of more than 100,000 palms is encountered in an instant, and the space is shocked and the light is broken everywhere. The light that came out of the eye of the last law could not withstand the bombardment of Fang Han. At the beginning, when Fang Han had not weathered the fire, he used the flesh to bombard the sea of water, and the smoke and water could not resist. I want to fly out of my own life and disaster. And at the beginning, Fang Han had not yet matured into a half-dead body. Now it has been repaired into half an undead body, and it has survived the raging fire. How strong is the power? And the magic handsome itself is repaired, far less than a smoke. Color body, 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 5 body 5 connotations, congenital magic power. Seeing the light bursting, the magic handsome in the light, the group turned around, the 10 fingers burst. A lot of the blood is actually the life of the blood, all of these blood, gathered into a point, into the eye of the end of the eye, inside the eyebrow. The eye of the end method received a lot of support from the life of the blood, and the power surged. It actually flew out of the eyebrows of the devil, and changed into an eyeball. It is as big as a mountain, spinning in the air, growing on the eyeball. There are so many tentacles, and every tentacle has a light. This is the original shape of the eye of the end method. The tentacles on the eyeballs are like the roots of the tree of the world. They can draw strength from the endless void. However, the eyes of the end of the law, obviously cannot draw the spirit of the celestial world, can only draw some low-level vitality, but Io is like this, but also very powerful. The devil handsome between the light, the cloth struggles, the cost of his own blood, show you in the display of congenital magic power, urging the eyes of the end of the law, and Fang Han fight to kill you. The 10,000 tentacles of the eyes of the end of the law are waved in the air, each of which is as long as 1,000 feet. Grab the camera toward Fang Han. The eyes of the end of the law. Although you are powerful, but your master cannot play your power, there is no way to supply you enough strength. I will let you know today, you are a pearl cast. Fang Han saw the tentacles flying come over, not at all panic, sneer, and even with both hands, the palms become bigger, cover the sky, the twisted muscles, like a dragon, all exudes dragons. Bang! Fang Han doorway was boundless, behind the head, a circle of halo came out, and the tentacles became slow, and he was caught in his hand with a claw. On the body of the eye of the last law, the sound of the explosion was heard everywhere, and inside the eyeball, a roar of wild beasts was heard. In the face of the fierceness of Fang Han, the spirit of the eyes of the end of the law did not dare to come out. Just dare to hide in the depths of the body. Of course, Fang Han's current strength, even if it is to suppress the eyes of this final law, cannot refine. The upper grade can be no better than the middle grade. Even if it is the Zhongyue Dao Sun and Moon Fine Wheel, Fang Han has no refining and chemicalization until now. Magic handsome, you don't want to waste your strength. You are not my opponent at all. Fang Han hit the eye of the end of the law, the body is in a moment of 3,000, once again bombarded, is a punch, put this top grade the device, hit the high sky, and then the goshawk smashed the rabbit, swooped down, one hand into the claws, nail growth, such as the knife and the sword front, 5 fingers like 5 mad dragons, the group shrouded the magic. The devil's face changed dramatically. He changed his body and mind again and again, but he couldn't escape the cover of Fang Han's palm. So he spurted out another blood. The congenital white bones flew out. When he met his own blood, he actually burned. The blazing flame burned the palm of the hand and sizzled. Blood magic. The devil's innate white-bone god actually burned up, the essence is consumed violently. This is a desperate means of using the blood, burning the law of the heavens and the earth, and issuing the power beyond its own strength, but every time it is displayed, it is necessary to reduce the life of the three. Despite the cold and fierce temperament, the sky is covered by the sun, but the magical blood-smashing magical power comes out, consuming 3 scorpions, the life of 180 years, burning the law of the heavens and the earth, or smashing the shooting of Fang Han, skyrocketing, handle, and then the eyes of the end of the law again into his eyebrows. When he turned a corner, people broke into the void. Waiting for the next moment, it has already reached the ring. Fang Han, I am willing to go down the wind this time, but you are not willing to completely lose in your hands. Face is lost, it is the loss of life for 180 years, burning the blood of the soul. This time you successfully after the wind and fire, the longevity secrets are expected, and the cultivation is flat. The inheritance of the 3 great supernatural powers is yours. The devil handsome actually went away. I would rather lose 3 sons, 180 years of life, and I don't want to lose face in Fang Han's hands. However, this squatting is also a confession of losing. Going fast, but I let you go this time, no show of killing, or magic handsome you think, I really can't kill you? What do you think? Fang Han stood on the platform, a slap in the palm of his hand was caught in his hand. When the devil's face changed, he looked at his chest, and the vestment of a treasured treasure was caught in a hole. On the meat of his heart, 5 nail prints appeared, and the burning pain was apparently caught by Fang Han's claws. This is Fang Han's mercy, otherwise his heart will be smashed out. He didn't have the ability to be half dead, and the heart burst out and the body collapsed and died. Need to reincarnate, rehabilitate in 1 lifetime, and lose to running water. So powerful. The devil sighed and sighed, suddenly accelerating, and respected the exquisite fairy, Xianzuan. I am leaving for the first time. Between the speeches, he actually flew out the Shoujin mountain. Who else? When the devil took a walk, Fang Han stood on the platform and his eyes swept across the square. He said 3 words. At this time, he successfully survived the raging fire, the strength of the skyrocketing, 3 fists and 2 feet, defeated the magical handsome with the Shangping Dao, fierce and arrogant, not to mention the masters of the magical mystery, even the General Wangu giant came up. I am afraid it is difficult to defeat him. Which one dares to offend? After a long time, no one responded. Xianzuan, this time the test, Fang Han techniques and pressures, added a lot of brilliance to my birthday, deserve to be the inheritance of these 3 great supernatural powers. Autumn drizzle. Yes, Fang Han, you have weathered the fire, all the shackles, all eliminated. At this time, the strength is already the first person in the magical mystery, that Fan Qingying, Yang Shui, Hua Qian are also in under you. These 3 great supernatural powers have been given to you. I hope that you will use them well and enter the longevity secrets as soon as possible. After you have merged these 3 great supernatural powers, I have something to say to you. The exquisite Xianzuan on the high side made a speech. Later, Zuma's ancient spirit, the great Pudu Zen light, and the big-bearing Miss Han Wangquan, fell into the square of Fang Han's mind. Boom! Complex symbols, textures, mysterious wisdom, tyrannical power, 3 mysterious supernatural powers, the vastness of Zuma's ancient spirits, the tranquility of the great Pudu Zen light, the majestic of the Desu Miss Han fist, just in the mind of Fang Han ripple in the middle. At this time, Fang Han, how to repair it, immediately took full advantage of the lead. Jin Dan issued a large swallowing surgery, these 3 great supernatural powers, all swallowed in, and then refining. Later, on his golden Dan, there were 3 textures, one of which was a long horn on the head, a skeleton of the whole body, and a majestic god. This is the great **** of Zuma. The other one is a statue of Buddha. The last one is a shadow of the MT. The 3 great supernatural powers are powerful. Each magical power is equivalent to the power of the 5 emperors. More powerful than the Ghost Emperor's enchantment. Fang Han finally got the inheritance of the 3 supreme masters. His golden Dan now contains 93 magical powers. Zuma ancient spirit, Desu Mishan Wangquan, Da Pudu Zen light into the body of Fang Han, into the Golden Dan. He felt the great power of these three great supernatural powers, especially the great Pudu Zen light, which exudes a circle of chanting in Jindan, which makes the chilling spirit of the chilling god seem to be faint. The covenant can break the signs of future crisis changes. The great Pudu Zen light, Fang Han had been practicing for a while, but even the suffocating gas could not be condensed. It was not a magical power. Just getting started. It is different now, and it has become a realm of suffering for hundreds of years. The power is thousands of times higher. With this magical power, I will be able to thoroughly sculpt the 8 floating sects, increase the power of this dragon to the treasure, and surrender the sun and the moon. The pair of sun and moon fine wheels are in hand. The longevity secret is the first, the longevity I can really compete with the masters. Fang Hani got this magical power, immediately poured a vitality into the yellow spring map. This vitality is the brilliance of the great Pudu Zen light, strong brilliance. The entire Huangquan map is Zen light, circle and circle, as if countless arahants pray at the same time, worship, let people convert. It is more powerful than the magical power that comes with the ancient Buddha's umbrella on the burning lamp. This is the exquisitely crafted by Linglong Shenzuan. Linglong Shenzuan seems to be a supernatural power, and she does not know what adventure she has. Fang Han felt that his great Pudu Zen light was so powerful, he thought in his heart. The radiance shines above the 8 floats and enters the magical symbols of the 5 elements. Suddenly, the 6-character mantra above the spirits of the 5 elements is 10 times more intense, one by one, full of dozens of acres, each of which exudes the momentum of oppression. The surrounding void, without breaking open, a golden Buddha light, escaped from the ruptured void in the inside, and was contaminated by the 8 floating sects. Originally, after the 8 floats and the King of Blood Knights were combined, the whole float was transformed into a ***** color. But now, it is contaminated by the golden Buddha light, soaked, and gradually changed to the color of the purple gold, red, as if it is full of red gold. There are 3.6 million demon inside, many demon kings, feel the golden Buddha light, sit on each other, the face shows a pious look, under their seat, a golden lotus flower, derived from it. At first glance these devils have become arahants. The 8 bas-reliefs have completely changed their appearance. Even the instrumental spirit on the top of the floating tortoise, the King of Blood Knight, the blood of the whole body, has also changed into a golden glory. He suppressed the ***** soft water sword, which is a low screaming, green dress. The woman spirit, suddenly exploding, turned the pure spirit into the body of the King of Blood Knight. The body of the ***** soft water sword is also disintegrated, melted, and entered the body of the magic knife. In an instant, the King of Blood Knight refining the ***** sword that captured the blood from the Vatican. The combination of yin and yang, the power is constantly rising, upgrading, and upgrading. A wave of change, shocked in the picture of Huangquan. The Buddha of the Blood Knight King expands outwards, and the inch is divergent and the power is weak. Look at this scene, envious of the road, promoted to become a Chinese product. No mistake, the King of Blood Knight, at this moment, has been promoted to become a Chinese style, but his body is also combined with the 8 floating sects. He really became the spirit of the 8 floating sect. The spiritual symbols of the 5 elements under the sacred ritual of Fang Handa Pudu Zen are still continually drawing from the void to the Buddha light that does not know where it came from, and infiltrated into the 8 Buddhism. Among the 8 floating sects, there have been more earth-shaking changes. The space inside is enlarged, and the body of the blood dragon crystal peak is more concise, compact, and strong. A circle of Buddha light emerged from the tower. Then I shot into the void and disappeared. 8 pieces of the best treasures on the 8 floats, Dan Furnace, Rosary, Ming Wang Axe, Cracked Chen Shu, Dragon King Ruler, gongs and drums, morning bell, crystal ball, are also shaking, accepting the spirit of the 5 elements. The power of blessing, the illusion of a strip, the 8 magic weapons flashing above, seems to be gathering to become a spirit. In the thought of Fang Han, you can clearly feel it. This is a magic weapon that has been put together. And every moment, every time, it is concise. As long as you cultivate yourself into the longevity secrets, you can use your own mana to concise, and 8 pieces of the best treasures can be turned into a Taoist device. At that time, the power can even be in direct contact with Huang Quantu. After all, the magical character of the 6-word mantra in the 5 elements is too wonderful, and I don't know what it is. And there are 3.6 million demon inside, many demon kings, always praying, generating a lot of vitality, in the quenching of the pagoda. In this case, I will give these 8 floats a new magic weapon. Pudu Tsihang. Since it is a big Pudu Zen light, how can there be no boat? Without a boat, how can you cross the bitter sea? King of Blood Knight then, let's go. Fang Han, familiar with the dragon's secret, now knows the truth of the refiner, the spirit of a move, the gods repeatedly urging, powerful mana in the Huangquan map, ship was photographed. This is the Great Vatican Bright Ship, Buddhist magic weapon. Fang Han used 300 million medicinal herbs and photographed it at the auction. He gave all the power of Pu Yang inside, and now it has become a model, but the materials and arrays are all there. Now Fang Han wants to repower it. The hull of the Great Vatican Bright Ship flew up and fell into the hands of the King of Blood Knight. He was caught by him, and the Buddha light that was taken from the 5 elements of the land came from the tide, and the Buddha's door to the treasure was contaminated with Buddha's light and thousands of miles. The King of Blood Knight, now you are already a medium-sized instrument and you have received the illumination of the great Pudu Zen light. The blessing of the 5 elements of the earth's magical spirits, there is no blood on the body, all the suffocating gas has been resolved. From then on, it is no longer the King of Blood Knight, I will help you to get a name again. Holding a treasure ship, you will express yourself to all beings, many devils. At the same time, you also cultivate the great Pudu Zen. After letting the King of Blood Knight hold the Defan Guangming ship, Fang Han used the mana to cover the entire 8 floating sects, and the Buddha light burst and fired down to the sun and the moon. The brilliance of the 2 medium-sized sculpt of the sun and moon fine wheels was completely suppressed, and the Buddha light of the road was completely contaminated by them. A man and a woman, a powerful instrument, also caused panic. The current 8-headed Buddhism is a red gold pagoda. On the highest top of the pagoda, sitting in the red gold, holding a large Van Gogh boat, said that you want to cross the sentient beings from the sea of blood, and the 8-story pagoda, each the first floor is a layer of space. There is a magic weapon. Around each magic weapon, the gods are sitting in the sky. These gods keep praying day and night, using the power to quench 8 pieces of magic weapons and the body of the tower. On the back of the tower, there are 6 real words engraved in it. The words of the truth keep flashing, and there is a eternal Buddha light. This pagoda is now a huge increase in power. Originally, even if Fang Han practiced in the longevity secret, refining the 8 floating sects, it is impossible to have such great power. However, he has a 5-line spiritual symbol, this mysterious symbol, integrated into the floating butcher, making him the speed of the magic weapon. The magical symbols of these 5 elements are really wonderful. The Buddha light that I have taken does not know where it came from. It is like the seed of the true God, drawing strength from the virtual world. Perhaps, the Buddha also has the Buddha world. These Buddha lights are from what is the mysterious Buddha's world. Fang Han felt that he used the great Pudu Zen light to sculpt the magical symbols of the 5 elements, and spurred the mystery of some large arrays in the charm. These large arrays have been urging, and they have also taken Buddha light from the mysterious alien space. Fang Han at this time, the knowledge is very broad, knowing that this charm is the same as learning the seeds of the true God, from what mythological Buddha world to draw Buddha light. Fang Han analyzed the Buddha light captured by the Ling Fu and found that there is also a strong willingness in it, and some powers that are unclear. But these forces are good for the promotion of the 8 floating sects. This is beyond doubt. The King of Blood Knight refining the blood and soft water sword, getting the magical blessing, promoted to the middle of the road, the power of the 8 floats increased. More on the top of the cold over the fire, the mana is boundless. 2 exhibitions, the fine wheel of the moon was actually pressed at the bottom of the tower, the light is faint, it seems to be crushed at any time. At this time, I have successfully survived the storm. As long as I continue to have enough strength, I will be able to survive in the future. The last catastrophe of the mysterious mystery, I can be spared. Spirit? Want to live and die? Tell you, if you still don't surrender, I will crush you completely, let you all be integrated into the 8 floating sects, I will be the unity of the heavens in the mysterious world. The sound is even more pressing and pressing. The spirit of the sun and the moon is called red yang and cold moon. They are all highly intelligent people. They know how to cultivate. They are more experienced than ordinary monks. They saw that Fang Han actually passed the wind. The fire robbed, and they were shocked. 90 kinds of supernatural powers have actually succeeded in robbing. What to do? His 90 kinds of magical powers have been successfully robbed. We have to be suppressed by him. There is no way, we are hard to cultivate spiritual wisdom. Cannot be destroyed, surrender. The 2 great spirits felt the pressure was difficult, and after a while, they suddenly surrendered. Bang! The majestic mana, with the willingness of 3.6 million devils, shrouded. Thoroughly poured into the interior of the sun and moon fine wheel, the 2 great spirits were taken into the 8 floats. One day, 2 treasures in January, the vibration of the law around the blood of the king of the night does not stop. 8 Buddhism, the power is even more. The king of blood night, you are floating 2 treasures around you, holding a bright ship, Urdu beings. I will give you a name now, called the rotating holy king. The of Fang Han's thoughts, laughing and laughing, resounded in the picture of Huang Quan. This video is end here. Like the video and subscribe to my channel.